Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Limbus Company reaction. Today we have Canto 7 Boss Theme 3, and going off what I know about the other Canto stuff I've covered before, I'm assuming that this one's going to be kind of a blend of all the prior themes, and also given that I was told to listen to this one after the others, so I'm sure that was to build my context and everything. It's like, I'm not stupid, I just don't know the game. But anyway, without further self-deprecation, let's get on to the music, shall we? Let's go! Sorry, it was almost a little Russian there at the beginning. Still bouncy as ever. Whew. Yo. Sorry, what they're doing with those chromatic scales bouncing back and forth. They were like overlaying. Got a little Mario Party there for a second. What is this theme? It's hitting all of the things. Was this composed by Grant Kirkhope? Like, what's going on here? Maybe that's why I like it so much. It kind of reminds me of Banjo-Kazooie. And I'm old. Ooh. This is a really fun rendition of everything. Like, there's definitely aspects of each one I've heard so far. Yeah, this is like... I don't even know if I would call this motifs as much as they are just borrowing the energy from each one. There is a little bit of motif in there, but it's more subtle, I think. Unless my memory is just escaping me. Okay, it ended like that. I thought it was going to keep going up, but it went down. All right. So it kind of did exactly what I thought it was going to do, and definitely borrowed from those prior songs, but again, it was kind of using them more as like an inspiration than like a direct motif. There was definitely some similarities in there, and they definitely did borrow some of the musical interlude from each one. I would even go as far as to say they were more sampled than they were directly used as leitmotifs, because in this case, there were definitely chunks that I was recognizing of like different note patterns, but no like full passage that was really like stand out in my head from something I'd heard before. So they're just taking that overall vibe and just applying it to a new song. The one thing that I think is kind of a bummer here is that they didn't really have any of the electronic stuff from like the first boss battle theme, and I was like, that was really fun to listen to. I wish they had kind of woven that in here somehow. I'm not sure exactly how they would have done that. That's probably why they didn't. Maybe it was a different boss that's like somewhat disconnected from who we're fighting here in this battle. I'm not fully sure. I don't know who exactly the characters are, but usually when they blend stuff like that together, they try to get a little bit of everything. It's possible they borrowed something from that original one that was a little bit more of the like overall melody of that electronic piece that just didn't sound the same because it was like converted into this more circusy sort of parade style. So it's possible, but maybe not exactly. But when I made that crack about Grant Kirkhope, that was a legitimate thing. Like for a second there, I was like, wait a minute, this might be influenced by his work because he's a huge name in the video game composition scene, and it's possible any one of the composers working at Studio EIM might have seen that and gone, that's the energy we're looking for, let's use that. Grant Kirkhope is just one of those names and one of those writers that has such a defined style that has withstood the test of time and has such a character to it that it's kind of hard to deny that there might have been some influence from at least one of the games he's worked on, because a lot of the stuff he's worked on for Rare specifically, especially back in the 90s, was definitely this sort of feel. But it's also very possible that it was just a general parade kind of circusy vibe, which Grant definitely did borrow from a lot for those games, just because it was kind of this goofy clown-like energy that fit the lighthearted mood of the games he was composing for, and he just adjusted them to be fit in different like world aesthetics. Like if it was like a haunted area, he would have it be a little bit more spooky, but overall the same kind of general goofy vibe going on. And it's just, he was really good at that. So that is kind of why this feels like that to me, because it's kind of doing the same thing. It's this high energy, really like paradey, proud sound, but also kind of spooky on the edge, and it just works out like that. I suppose I'll never know if that's actually the case unless somehow somebody from Studio EIM decides to see this video and answer that question. If they do, I'll let you all know at some point, but that would be really neat if we learned if that was the case or not. I'm assuming it is, but that's just because of my own bias. It's also very possible that nobody at Studio EIM has played any of those games, and it's all a big coincidence, completely fueled by my own nostalgia and my own brain making connections that just aren't actually there. Either one could be very much true. What I think is a more significant difference in this song compared to the other ones it had borrowed from is that this one felt a little bit heavier. Like it was still lighthearted in that circusy way, but it had more of a weight to bear on it. It almost felt more warlike, like it was being more inspired by an influence of wartime energy compared to the prior ones, which we did kind of get that in the last theme. There was a little bit of that weight, but this one doubled down on it, probably because it's supposed to be an amalgamation of some sort of those prior songs, and it just has that extra push to it as a result. But I don't fully know either if that was intended. I'm assuming that one's probably more likely based on the whole game's concept and the fact that you're battling them. They wanted to raise that intensity and make it a little bit more aggressive. That's very possible. But the worst part about this is that I don't know. And a lot of it is just me throwing things to the wall, seeing what sticks, and hoping that my guesses are even at least somewhat close. I've been very wrong in the past, but I've also been very correct in the past. For this, since I know it's probably an amalgamation song, I can't really make a psychological call out of what's happening in the song because I've already talked about what I assume to be the other characters that it has covered already, and the individual songs would have a better concept of that. In this, it just feels like you're going through the individual phases like you would for a game where you're fighting multiple people at once, and it's just, you know, there. It still sounds really cool, of course. I love the influence on it. I still really am interested to see if there is an inspiration from Grant Kirkhope's work, just because it feels so similar, but I don't know if that was at all. So if something does happen, like I said earlier, I will let you all know there, but I highly doubt it, so like, don't get your hopes up, but it would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? But I've been yapping enough about this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. I believe I have listened to the other boss theme after this one, number 4, which I think was a different character. I think that was like the final boss of this, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not going to be listening to that one again. I just had to kind of backtrack to this one. But if you have any other songs you want me to get to and react to, by all means, drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best to get to them as I always do. I'll be doing more videos this year than I ever have before, so if you have something, by all means, please say it in the comments, and I will do my best. And of course, otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!